last week we studied the flood, and the 40 of the flood was the 40 days and 40 nights of rain. And then when God caused a wind to come and the ark rested, and he gave his covenant of the rainbow that would never happen again. But the thing about the 40 days and 40 nights is that God was passing judgment on the world. But what's beautiful about that is at the same time he was passing judgment on the world, he was saving the righteous man and his family and enough animals to repopulate the earth. So whenever God passes judgment, you got to understand that there's always that remnant that is saved. Always. You'll see that all through the Bible, that God saves a remnant. And when he passes final judgment on humankind, guess who's going to be saved? Us, who believed on him. Just like Noah believed on God. Abraham believed on God, and it was counted to him for righteousness. So tonight, we're going to study about Moses. And Moses is a Hebrew word, and it means drawn out. That's because when his mother made his little ark and sailed him down the Nile River to the princess, when she drew him out of the water and she fell in love with him, it says he was a beautiful baby. And when he cried, she wanted him. Anyway, she named him Moses because she drew him out of the water. So, there's some 40s associated just with Moses' life. And the first one is that after the princess drew him out of the water, he lived in the palace. He was in the royal court for 40 years. Okay? And God was proving something. 40 usually has to do with proving, testing, and judgment. And God was proving something with Moses. And what that was that he had all the treasures of Egypt. He was a prince of Egypt. But he knew what he was there for. And when he defended one of his brethren from an Egyptian taskmaster, he killed the taskmaster, and then he had to flee. Okay, so the next 40 years, Moses spent in the land of Midian. And there, God was teaching him to be a shepherd. He was proving him to see, could he lead sheep? Was he qualified to lead the children of Israel?
Yes.
Well, he trained, that's right, for 40 years leading sheep. And one day, he came to the backside of the desert to a mountain called Sinai. And that's where he saw the burning bush. And he spoke with God. And God told him that he was going to rescue the children of Israel. And God told him his name, I am. I am that I am. I will be who I will be. I will do what I will do. He's completely sovereign. But I want to read you something that he said to Moses that day. And this is Exodus 3:12. And he said, certainly, I will be with thee, and this shall be a token with thee that I have sent thee. When you bring forth the people out of Egypt, ye will serve God on this mountain. So what he's telling him, you're at Mount Sinai right now, and I'm sending you to Egypt to deliver the slaves, the Hebrew children, the children of Israel, and you're going to bring them right back to this mountain where I spoke with you and worship God right here. So that 40 years he spent in the desert, then the next 40 years he spent in the wilderness after they left Egypt. So God empowered him to rescue this ragtag slaves, and when they came out, and when they came to the mountain and got the law, the nation of Israel was born, both as a nation and as a spiritual nation. was born, that's what God gave Moses the power to do, was to form this nation of Israel. So there are 3 40s. The first 40 years in Egypt, he was being tested to see if he would be faithful to his calling. The second 40 years when he was a shepherd, was proving him to see if he'd be able to lead the children of Israel. And the last 40 years ended up being God's judgment on the children of Israel. So in chapter 20, when the law was given, this was a covenant between God and the children of Israel. But this covenant of the 10 Commandments, which in chapter 20, they're not written in stone. He's speaking them. God is speaking them. And this covenant is going to be proving who God is, proving his perfect personality, his perfectness, because the law is actually 613 laws, but just the 10 commandments, the 10, nobody can keep them. And that will go on till the end of time of proving to every individual who's ever born that they cannot be perfect, and it drives them to trusting in God. So I want to tell you something that God said in chapter 20 to Moses. This is chapter 20, verse 23. And I want you to remember this because this is going to come up here in the story. And the Lord said unto Moses, Thus shalt ye say unto the children of Israel, Ye have seen that I have talked with you from heaven. So he's saying the children of Israel know that I'm talking to you, and you're the one who's in authority. And he said, Ye shall not make with me gods of silver, that's small g, neither shall ye make unto you, small g, gods of gold. Remember that. That comes up in this story about them making gods of gold.
What's the small g?
Small g.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. There's only one God who's the big G. He's up in heaven. Wherever heaven is, that's where God is. So now we're going to go to the 40 days and the 40 nights. Exodus 24:16. Now this is when actually he's going to be getting the 10 Commandments. Exodus 24:12. And the Lord said unto Moses, Come up to me into the mount. This is Mount Sinai. And be there. And I will give thee tables of stone, and a law and commandments, which I have written, that thou mayest teach them. Just remember, God carved out these stones, and God wrote on them. Verse 16, And the glory of the Lord abode upon Mount Sinai, and the cloud covered it 6 days. And the 7th day he called Moses out of the midst of the cloud. Verse 18, And Moses went into the midst of the cloud, and gat him up into the mount, and Moses was in the mount 40 days and 40 nights. So we already had the 3 40s of his life, which, by the way, he died when he was 120. So 3 times 40 is 120, and that's when he died. But he was up there for 40 days and 40 nights, and he was getting those 2 tablets. And so he was up there getting the law. And so the 40 days and the 40 nights are proving that God is perfect. That's what that law means. So that's what that 40 meant. It was proof. It was proving. And while he was up there, God gave him a lot of instructions. He told him how to build the tabernacle in the wilderness, how to build all the furniture. He also, with God's order of perfection, he told them about offerings. Just like with Noah and the flood, when he passed judgment, he had grace for Noah. Well, he's got grace for anyone who's going to give offerings for their sins. He always has grace, even in the Old Testament. Now, Exodus 31:18. Now, this is telling about God writing it actually with his finger. And he gave unto Moses, when he had made an end of commanding him upon Mount Sinai, 2 tablets of testimony, tablets of stone, written with the finger of God. God warned the people not to build an idol of gold. That's exactly what they did. They made a golden calf. And actually, the golden calf is a symbol of Tammuz, which was a Babylonian god. And I'll read you what Moses did. And it came to pass, as soon as he came nigh unto the camp, that he saw the calf and dancing. They were dancing around this idol. And Moses' anger waxed hot, and he cast the tables out of his hands, and he brake them beneath the mount. Now listen to what he did. And he took the calf which they had made, and he burned it in the fire, and ground it. After he burned it down, melted it, then he ground it down into a powder, and he scattered it upon water like he's making soup, and made the children of Israel drink it. They had to drink that gold diluted in water that they meant to defy God with. They thought, well, this Moses, he's been up there for 40 days. We don't know if he's ever coming back. But Aaron was responsible for this. And here's the interesting thing. What they were worshiping ended up going through their body and being poop. That's what God showed them. But here's the way I look at it. I'm interested in finding gold. There's gold out there under Mount Sinai. Think about it. And Moses said unto Aaron, what did this people do to you that you brought such a great sin on them? And Aaron said, oh, don't let your anger wax hot. You know this is a mist of people. He's going to blame the people. For they said unto me, make us gods, which shall go before us. For as this Moses, the man that brought us up out of Egypt, we don't know what's become of him. Okay, they were slaves in Egypt for 400 years. Now they can't wait 40 days. And I said unto them, whosoever hath any gold, let him break it off. When he says break it off, that meant they were wearing it. And you know that when they left Egypt, God put it on the hearts of the Egyptians to give them gold and silver and raiment. They asked for it, but God put it on their heart to give it to them. And I said unto them, whosoever hath any gold, let them break it off. So they gave it to me, and I cast it in the fire, and hey, there came out this calf. Okay, that is not true. That had to be molded and sculpted and all that stuff. He's not willing to man up to what his part of this was. So now, the law, the tablets are broken. So God's got to do something about that. And this is in Exodus 34, verse 1. And the Lord said unto Moses, hew thee out 2 tablets of stone like unto the first. So now God's not making the tablets. Moses has to hand hew them because he's the one who broke them. No matter how many he got, he didn't have to break those tablets. So he says, you are going to hew out the tablets like the first, and I will write upon these tablets the words that were on the first ones, which thou broke. Verse 28, and he was there with the Lord 40 days and 40 nights. He did neither eat bread nor drink water. And God wrote upon the tablets the words of the covenant, the 10 commandments. So another 40 days and 40 nights. But this time, God sustained him. You can't even live for 4 days without water. But this time is different from the first one. This time, God sustained him so that he didn't need to eat or drink, which I find to be very interesting. But the 40 again is proving God's sovereignty, proving his perfection in those 10 commandments. That's going to be it for tonight.
Okay.